Go flat tracker, go flat tracker, go, go, go.
The Kelpie Flat Track Pod, brought to you by our partners, Shread for the sickest jersey prints in the biz, Euroka Fencing for all your rural farming fencing needs, classic wheels, spokes and Otway hydroblasting, making your old girl look new again, and of course Kelpie, keeping you on track for longer. Now let's get into the episode.
All right, sweet. So welcome to another Kelpie Flat Track Pod. This one's a rider interview. Get to know another Aussie rider, young gun, James Swady, 157. If I move your head for a minute, just make sure I'm right.
Yep.
Here to the left. Yeah, we're having James is on his phone and we're having lots of fun with his camera so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be interesting. How you going, dude?
Nah, pretty good yourself, man.
Yeah, really good. As we were just talking about, a bit busy and a little bit hectic. Thanks for bearing with me, and you're starting a little bit later. So, on that, do you work? How old are you? I'm not sure how old you are.
I'm 21 and I
Oh, yeah.
work as a light vehicle mechanic at a local workshop in town.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, so yeah, getting into that, I normally just ask the riders to give us a brief description about themselves, where their racing start, where they live. So now we know you're 21 and your mechanical background there. So where were you born? Have you always lived there, or have you moved around? Or
No, I was born in Nepean and we lived in Penrith for probably half of my life, and then yeah, we moved up to Blaney just because Dad was always working up here, so we come up here just following him, and yeah, we've been here ever since.
oh, sorry, where is that?
Blaney. So in between Cowra and Bathurst is probably the easiest way to put it.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah. No, it's only
Karen
only a
Bathurst.
small town. It's not very big.
So is that sort of near Wellington?
Wellington's on its way out towards sort of Dubbo. It's sort of probably I think an hour and a half away.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So it's sort
Yeah.
of right in the middle of everything. I'd put it.
Yeah, okay. So it's pretty. You've got pretty good access to tracks and that from there.
Oh, we got a few. The closest ones is Woodstock and Forbes, and
Yeah.
then I think we've got to travel to probably Nepean's the next closest one.
Oh, okay. And that'd be a couple hours, few hours maybe.
Yeah, it's two and a half probably
Oh,
that.
that's
But-
not too bad though, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not too bad. Bathurst is probably the best because it's only 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah,
And it's always a
okay.
big one. But
Yeah.
yeah, that one I always look forward to going to Bathurst.
Yeah, they don't have a racing club there like just normal club meets, though, do they?
No, apparently from what I heard in town, apparently they used to run flat track race meets at the showground, but apparently a few crashes with sidecars and they ended up pulling it up with safety and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Because the club that runs Bathurst, they're mainly motocross or something, aren't they?
Yeah, they do motocross most of the year, and then they since Bathurst has come back, they've sort of taken it over and decided to run it the once a year.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I had my first year at the Bathurst this year, and that year was pretty awesome. Yeah, I am planning on coming up again. We'll just see what happens. Things are yeah, the economy and all that sort of stuff. Things are
Yeah.
tightening up a bit, but we'll
Yeah,
give it a
100%.
give it a red hot crack. I want to do all the AFTN. We'll get into that as well. I
Yep.
want to do all that again next year. Had a blast doing that this year. Before we get into your AFTN story, let's talk a bit about your background. And so, was Dad a racer, Mum a racer? How did it all start for you?
So Dad was always racing cars. So he done a lot of drag racing when I was little and go-karts, and Mum done a bit of go-karts as well. So I was always sort of around the whole motorsport, just traveling around, going with them. And never really thought too much about bikes until obviously when I was little and everyone's kids with Dad's mates sort of rode bikes. So we sort of just the old PW50, give it a go.
Yeah.
And I always just sort of loved it from then on, just kept going with it. And then yeah, that was really it. Mum and Dad always sort of raced, so then I just naturally sort of followed them.
Yeah, right. And so you started on the Peewees. Did you go to motocross first, or how did you end up in dirt track?
So I never actually done many races. I'd crashed when I was a kid and stopped racing for a long time, but it was only till I think it was 2017 when the last Bathurst was on. Me and Dad were watching it, and Dad said, "Would you do this?" And I was like, "Nah, flat track looks a bit boring." So I don't think I will. And then he took me to one of Woodstock's come and try days, and that was the day I realised it's a lot harder than it looks, and sort of just loved it from there on.
Yeah, that's cool. Your stories match up. I was talking to your old man on at Gunnedah at Balcarry Park, and he was telling me that story. That's pretty cool. I love it when people think that it's easy and they get out there and you get that
Oh,
reality check.
yeah, 100%. I struggled with something shocking when I first started, and it was always even now. I've conned a lot of my mates into coming and having a go, and they're always like, "Oh, it looks a bit easy. I don't know if I want to do it." And then they realise how hard it is and the competition they got to face. It's not a easy task nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. And so when you got into the flat track, how long ago was that? How old were you then?
So I haven't been I started when I was 15 and a half. So I
Oh
only
yeah.
sort of done about 8 months of juniors, and then I stepped straight up into seniors. So I think this is my 5th year or 6th year now. So I've only been racing for, in reality, compared to a lot of other people, a short amount of time. But it definitely would have helped if I raced a lot more as a junior and learned. But
Well, there's a bit of a backstory to why you didn't. Do you want to explain that to us? I was pretty amazed about that actually.
yeah. So when I don't know how, I was pretty young riding the 50, and we'd always go to one of Dad's good mates. He raced motocross, so we'd practice, just ride with all the kids there. And yeah, just got a bit sideways, hit a start picket, and then never thought much of it until a couple months later, still in pain from it. And then yeah, found out I broke my hip. And yeah, apparently it was a common issue. I got Perthes disease from it, and the bone wouldn't grow back properly. So at that point, constant operations, and they ended up putting me in a wheelchair for 3.5 years and crutches for a year. So that was at that point the bike sort of stopped, and we didn't do much for a lot of my childhood. But yeah, that was Dad got me into the go kart, sort of just stay away from the danger aspect of the bikes. But it just, yeah, the bikes is always the best way to go. I love the bikes ever since I was little. Just couldn't get away from them. So yeah, once I was finally able to ride bikes again, I said to Dad, "Come on, we got to get a bike. We got to do something other than go karts."
Yeah, awesome. I didn't realize. He probably did tell me, but I didn't realize it was from the accident that you got the disease, where the bone didn't grow back. I thought, yeah, that was a growth thing or something. But
Yeah, so well,
my bad.
apparently it is when kids are going through that age, they're growing, and they said it's just an issue that a lot of kids get. I never heard about it, but they reckon it's very common from like I think it was 8 years old to 15 years old, and
Yeah.
yeah, just sort of you just develop it as you're growing, I suppose, and it sucks, that's for sure. But what do you do?
I was going to say, did that make you want to ride bikes even more? Like, obviously, Dad sort of eased you back in by going to go karts, by the sounds of it. But because did you feel like you were missing out? Like psychologically, it must have been pretty tough.
Well, because I was always racing, like I raced the go karts, and it wasn't too bad. But everybody sort of rode bikes, and then moving to the because I was sort of just finishing the 4 years that I was out. I moved up to Blaney, and everybody rode bikes because it's country town. So I was
Yeah.
I was kind of wanted to get back into the bikes, and all Dad's mates kept saying we'll ride bikes again. And yeah, Dad eventually got me a bike for my birthday. I think for my 15th birthday, and that was yeah, just went from there. Just couldn't wait every time I got on the bike learning. And yeah, it was a big step up because I went from riding a little Sarah 50 to an XR 150. Didn't know how to use a clutch, nothing. So just had to learn from scratch and yeah, go from there.
Yeah, right. So, and then from the 150, did you go to a 250?
Yeah. So it was a funny story. I started racing flat track then, and we got sick of going to places and only racing 3 or 4 times on the one bike. So we went looking for a 250, and then we come across Mr. Cook from Woodstock. His young fellas race Speedway, and they were selling their 250. So I ended up with Ben Cook's old 250, and it was a pretty good bike, and yeah, raced that a handful of times, and then yeah, crashed and put me out for another 12 months.
Oh, you
And
kidding?
yeah, it was I think I rode it half a dozen times, and then Dad was like, I didn't even know, but Dad was like, "Oh, we'll go to this race, mate." It was at Tamworth, however you say it,
Yeah,
for the junior Australian titles, and I didn't really even know. I just rocked up,
yeah.
and yeah, I made it into the. I was second gate pick into the repechage, and we didn't even know what a repechage was at that point. We were asking questions, and they're like, "Oh, you got to do this," and we were like, "Righto." And yeah, turn one, just a bloke on the inside ran into me, pointed me sideways, and I got ran over a half dozen times and shattered my ankle. So that put me out for a good 9 months.
Yeah, right. So you didn't even get the feeling the guys were trying to tell you something, or?
Oh, yeah, there was a bit of a depression afterwards with Dad not being just realised maybe we shouldn't do this, and I was like, "We're here, we may as well do it now." So
Yeah, okay.
we had the bikes and we just marched on. But the worst bit about that was pretty much my last race as a junior, and I had to step up to seniors straight away because I turned 16 after I broke my ankle.
Yeah.
So at that point, I rode a 250 half a dozen times and then stepped straight up onto a 450 that was given to us.
Yeah,
And
right.
yeah, old Timmy Tobin from Bathurst, he had an old bike and he said, "Have fun, go ride it." I said, "Right,
Yeah,
sweet."
awesome.
And
Oh, so
yeah,
you've always had good support then, by the sounds of it.
yeah. Well, Timmy was always a good mate of ours because he worked on our bike, just getting it up and running, stuff like that. And then we told him we were doing flat track, and he was like, "Oh, I like flat track," so he started helping us a little bit and doing what he could. And yeah, he was always more than happy to help because Timmy's a genuine bloke. He's more than happy to help the kids, and he's always like that. He's a good bloke. So yeah, he was always pretty. In the beginning, he was heaps of help. We wouldn't be here without him, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And yeah,
And so you've got yourself an Aussie title already, even though you've not been racing that long. How did that
yeah.
come about?
So we're always at that point. We sort of were going to the titles trying, and it was I was still on the Honda 250 trying my best at all the titles and just wasn't quick enough compared to the KDMs. And I'll never forget it. Dad told me, he goes, I think what was it? I come fourth at a state title, and Matt Drain told Dad, if you want to see your son win, you got to buy a KDM. So we ended up getting a KDM 250 and never rode it. Sent it away to get the suspension done, and then we put it in the bike. I got the bike back. It was supposed to have work done. We got the bike back. Oh, I think I rocked up 5 o'clock on the Saturday morning before the race meet.
Oh,
Didn't
right.
have stickers, nothing was done to the bike. And yeah, we were running around like headless chooks and rode the bike. Whole weekend sort of went good, made the final, and then yeah, just pulled the whole shot in the final and led every lap. And yeah, that was probably one of the best moments so far.
Yeah,
Getting that one,
fantastic.
just all under prepared on a stock bike. So we were pretty happy with that one, with where we come from to what we achieved that weekend.
Yeah, and what year was that?
I think that was
Putting you on the spot now.
yeah, I can't actually remember. I think it was 2021. I think it was.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, so not long ago. So yeah, you'd
Yeah,
still be buzzing off that, surely.
yeah. No, it was because we won that one, and then it was, I think it was 8 months later they had the state titles at the same track, and I won them as well, which was pretty good.
Oh
So then
yeah,
I
fantastic.
back to back them, and I was pretty happy with that. It
Yeah.
wasn't just a fluke thing.
So was that New South Wales state titles?
Yeah, that was the New South Wales state titles at Corindai.
Yeah. Have you gone for any other state titles, Vics or Queensland or anything like that, South Australia? Have you done any
Um,
big trip?
No, I've done a few big trips for the AFTN and I've gone to Albury for the Aussies and stuff like that this year.
Yeah.
But that was sort of right when a lot of the races were sort of, I wouldn't say local, but they weren't super far away for the titles
Yeah.
after COVID, because COVID sort of held us back. So once COVID ended, we sort of went ballistic and just raced everywhere and anywhere because they were pretty close.
Yeah.
And and yeah, it was only this year that I've really started traveling pretty far just to go to races, just because why not? I got my van, load up, go for a trip.
Yeah, sweet. And how do you find that? Do you find it plays on your body or your mindset or anything? Like, are you doing the driving or have you got a co-pilot that does some of
Um,
that duties for you?
a lot of the time, if it's within like I'd say a 6 hour trip, I normally just do it by myself. I was
Yeah, okay.
dependent. I might take time off work, or if I can't, I'll just leave Friday afternoon and head straight to the motel or the track. But
Yeah.
when when I went to Queensland this year, I got one of my mates to come with me, and we split the drive up 50-50 just to make it there in one piece.
Yeah, it's a pretty big journey, that one.
Yeah, it was. It was a fair trip in the old van. So yeah, that was it.
And yeah, so moving along on to so this is all Aussie dirt track we've been talking about, or Yeah, I'm now calling it Aussie dirt track because we've got flat track as well now. So
Yeah.
it's easier just to say Aussie dirt track, so we know we're talking about 2118 or 2119. Was there any other? So you got a state title, you got an Australian title. Was there any other big moments in your Aussie dirt track that you like to reflect on?
Oh, a lot of podiums. I've come on the podium a lot of times, which is annoying. But prob I'd say it was just as good as feeling was probably coming third at Bathurst
Yeah,
because
okay.
we spent a lot of time, money trying to get ready for it because Dad always wanted to win Bathurst. Being Bathurst is Bathurst,
Yeah.
and yeah, no, we went out there out of the 80 odd riders. We just qualified the final, but then yeah, come third in the Pro 450 on close to a stock bike. There was a few things done to it, but not in relation to everybody else.
Yeah. KDM
And yeah,
again. Yeah.
yeah, KDM that was on the 450, which big field, everyone's fast. And yeah, no, it was a good feeling knowing that everybody, all my mates, everyone come to watch, and yeah, could show 'em how I could ride when I'm in the mood.
When you're in the mood, are you telling me that you're moody? You get
Uh Sometimes it depends how I'm feeling. If I'm hot and bothered and sick of the day, I'll normally get the shits pretty quick and can't be bothered sometimes.
yeah, right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I liked.
normally we'll do it.
I've got to say, I like that content of your old man and you on Facebook from Gunner Day around 5. Actually, that was good. When he's, I think you were doing a bit of analysing the race, and then it started talking about drinks or something. I can't remember, but
Oh
it's.
yeah, Dad loves to dribble. He'll always talk about anything and everything. And yeah,
No,
that
that's
was
good.
pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's the sort of content you need to keep creating. I think that's yeah, it shows the real side of it, which is awesome. Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
we don't have a lot of that over here, and I think it is important to grow the sport, especially since people around your age, especially, spend a fair bit of time on social media. So I think it would be a good way to get it spread and a new generation involved and maybe possibly interested.
yeah, 100%.
Do you have a missus?
No, I don't. Try and keep to the bikes.
Could be a good way to score one if you want one.
Uh Believe me, I've tried. I try, but the bikes will always come first. Really?
Yeah, I like your commitment. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's too expensive to have both.
You're not wrong there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Slow down, slow down. You don't want to go start throwing kids in the mix and all that sort of stuff.
yeah, no,
You'll
100%.
have to retire before you really get started.
Yeah,
So,
too young for that.
so you did every round of the AFTN, didn't you? But you had or did you miss? No, you went to
I'm
Brizzy. You
Yeah,
missed
I went to Brizzy. I
round
missed
four, two.
round two, yeah, because I think
Yeah.
it was second or third race in round one. I had a gutser and broke my collarbone, smashed it all into 100 bits, which was not really what we wanted, but that's racing. So you sort of just you move on from them once.
Yeah, and so what did they plate that? Did they? Because he had a speedy recovery.
Yeah, so they we seen a few doctors and a lot of them didn't want to plate it, but I told them what the go was, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to," and then we ended up sort of forcing them to plate it because I didn't want to wait however long it is
Oh, it's a long
to.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was
yeah,
they wanted 6 months without just leaving it, and I thought no, that's too long. So
yeah.
yeah, got them to plate it. So I think 8 or 9 screws and then a plate right across the whole lot. And then they had to screw 2 screws in before they could plate it to get all the shrapnel back together.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
it
you
was
did a good job on it. And
yeah, no, it was
was that your first time on 19s? Was it?
no, so I raced Sultan's a Slide when they had the series Sultan's a Slide, I think 2 years before the first AFTN.
Yeah, just
And
before COVID, wasn't it?
yeah, and
Yeah.
I was still not I wasn't very good. I only just started on flat track and we got I borrowed some rims and we gave it a go. I liked it, but yeah, Appen. I'd done the first time they done AFTN, which was at Appen just for that one round,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
and then that was sort of it. I done well in that. I sort of was sort of top six. I made the Super Pole
yeah. That's
on
good.
the Saturday, the Sunday on round two,
Oh, yeah,
but then yeah, Appen for the next time round. Yeah, going well. I was sort of sitting around that 6th, 7th position. And then, yeah, just had a bit of a moment in turn one and everyone trying to get on that blue groove. So just caught me
So
out and
what
lost me.
happened there? You had stepped off it a little bit, do you know, or you don't really know? It just sort of went down.
Oh, I come in a bit up, and because I was sort of off the groove on the inside, it didn't want to slow down. It just sort of slid across, and then by the time I got to the blue groove, everyone was trying to turn, and I couldn't get it to turn.
Yeah.
So at that point, all I did was just clip somebody. I think it was Tom Herrick. I think I just clipped him on the inside and just climbed up and over the top of him, and then probably one of my slowest crashes I've ever had. But I think just because I hit the ground wrong and trashed me.
They tend to be the bad ones too, the slow ones.
Yeah.
The higher speed ones, people walk away with, a lot less injuries. The slow ones, I think it's to do with reaction time, that you've got more time to react and you probably move, or you might have been trying to move or protect yourself or something. Who
Yeah,
knows?
well,
Who
I think
knows?
that might have been it because I tried to get off the bike, but because the bike went up and over the bike, I couldn't really get off. I was sort of stuck along for the ride at that point, so it sort of drove me to the ground pretty hard.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, nasty. Yeah, then that was I think that was the same, was that same race Zane Brokers I did his knee, I
Ah,
think.
yeah, it was. Yeah, he was I think it was one of there was 3 or 4 restarts, and we
Yeah.
were all involved.
Yeah, that was it was one after another, wasn't it? Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
was he the first one? I think he might have been
I
first.
think he was the first one, and then Reed Batty, he had the same issue as me. The next time he came a gutser and concussed himself, and then I was third time's a charm. Smashed me.
Yeah, you're right. And so what's your thoughts of the AFTN and the 19-inch setup?
I really like it. I was really keen for it, and because I sort of done well at App, and I was so excited for it. But then, as we sort of ventured out onto the dirt and onto the oil, I sort of realised that the dirt track setup and just running the same set of wheels and tires isn't really the go. There's a lot of setup changes you need to chase, and it was a good. I liked it because it was so different, variant. You got to see different people at the front every race meet because of their style and what they like.
Yeah.
But it was also very tricky to try and get used to sort of going as a first timer, just having a 5 minute practice and then you had to go throw it out in qualifying and try and do as best you can. But that was just me struggling, not knowing as much knowledge as some of the other riders on 19s.
Yeah, I think so. And you're not the only one that's going through that, which is a
Yeah,
good thing. But you say only 5 minutes, but really you can get like 20 laps in that time. Is
yeah,
where you in Aussie dirt track, you get 4 laps if you're
yeah.
lucky,
Well,
depending
and
on
that
the
was
meeting.
I think I raced last weekend at the Trackmasters, and I think that was the first dirt track race I've done since I broke my collarbone. And yeah, the 3 laps flies like it's really nothing when you think about it. And I used to get pretty tired after 3 laps till I'd done all my training. And since I broke my collarbone, I haven't done much training, but I was still fit enough to make the 6 lap final, which was pretty
Yeah,
good. But
right.
it flies like the 6 laps is nothing in reality compared to the AFTN.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to hear you say that. Yeah, I think the AFTN format would make a lot better for television because you've got time to talk about the racing and what's actually happening, and you
Yeah.
get lap traffic, and people get a chance if you get a poor start or anything like
Oh,
that.
hundred
You
percent.
get
Yeah,
a
that's
chance to make it up.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about it. Like I got a few bad starts at Gunnedah in round 5 and 6, but I'd get a poor start, but I'd still be able to claw my way back just because I had enough laps to do so. Where at the Trackmasters, I got 2 pretty poor starts, and trying to come from the back in 6 laps, it's so hard. You can't really do much when everybody's on the same equipment nowadays. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's a struggle.
yeah, and it was your first time on oil. You were saying, how did you find that?
Definitely another kettle of fish. You can definitely tell who's done a lot of it and who is new to it.
Yeah.
But I liked it because there was no roost and it was still fast. But yeah, definitely we were definitely lacking setup and a few things in regards to just knowing the track and knowing oil.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I was definitely like I was trying my best, and it wasn't the rest were a cut above because they sort of knew the limits of oil where I was still trying to learn it halfway through the day.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's always hard, isn't it? When you're when you're learning while racing, it's never fun. Like having 3 or 4 good practice days on it's definitely a huge
Yeah,
bonus
100%.
if you can get there to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, when we did oil for the New South Wales titles there at Canada, it was actually last year, 2022 for me. Brendan went back this year, but
Yep.
we went to Temora first and had a go there. They're quite different, which was actually a really good experience going there first because it gave me an idea of oil. I really enjoyed it. And then when I went to Canada, it was slightly tackier than Temora. I think Temora's
Yeah,
even
100%.
harder packed again.
Yeah,
So
I'd
so
done the same thing. I went to
did you?
Tamora
Yeah.
a couple of weeks before just to sort of know what it was going to be like, and then yeah, it was definitely different. It was a lot faster for sure.
Yeah. I like the layout of Temora better, the dirt track layout.
Yeah,
Um,
no, that's right. That was pretty fun. Nice
but
technical track.
yeah, the TT. So on the sixth round six, sorry for the AFTM was pretty awesome. I counted 6 turns. How were you finding that? It's pretty technical.
Yeah, no, I really liked the TT because it was something completely different. Like the other tracks, I wasn't really much of a like. It was a jump, but the one at Gunnedah was definitely it definitely was a big jump. If you made a big mistake, it would cost you.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
But
well, the
yeah, it was good.
nice thing about that jump is we've mentioned with other riders and that too is that it's got a nice straight afterwards. It's not straight into the corner.
Yeah, 100%. It was you could sort of have a bit of a relaxed moment and then you were back into it.
So you're a KDM factory rider now, or what? How many KDMs have you gone through?
Oh well, we're still on our first set. I won't say we've gone through too many. Dad's always been pretty into me since I started about maintenance and just making sure everything's up to scratch because we can't really afford to pay for a new motor if we trash one straight up. So every time he always put it through its run in stage, and we Dad's got his saying, oil's cheaper than a motor, so I'll always do oil changes regularly. And because we got Motul helping, like backing us, they'll always supply oil, so it's pretty good when we just need to change oil for a big meet because we know the bike's gonna cop a caning, but we don't really. It's not due yet. We don't mind just spending the money because it's safer.
Yeah.
But
And are you
yeah,
doing all the mechanics yourself? You said you're a vehicle mechanic, is that right?
yeah. So I work on cars and stuff, but I do a lot of the maintenance and just keeping the bikes ready to race. But when it comes to actually making them fast and getting all the go fast bits, we take it to Dave Norris because he started doing it once we went KDM. He was sort of the man to go to, so he does a lot of that, and yeah, he's meticulous at what he does. So we sort of know we're in safe hands at that.
Yeah, okay. But it must be handy having a bit of a mechanical background, surely save
Yeah,
you a bit of money and yeah.
yeah, it does help when it comes to doing the odd bit here and there. I can do a lot of the what's the word? Do a lot of the normal stuff that if you need to take it to a shop to get done, I can sort of do it myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, saves a lot of money doing it that way at least.
What's your favourite track in Aussie so far?
Um,
Bathurst, I'm
oh
guessing.
yeah, at this point, out of all the tracks, Bathurst is probably my favourite one just because it's so fast. And
Yeah,
you just got to be committed the whole track. And it always gets a really big crowd there as well, which is good fun.
yeah. No, it's nice riding in front of a crowd. Let that show pony come out and
Yeah, yeah,
and show off
100%.
a bit. Have you done any other trotting tracks? Did you do Oyen when they had it there?
No, we didn't. Dad wanted to go, but I can't remember what we were doing. I was doing something that week and I wasn't able to go. And yeah, Dad was really excited, but
Yeah,
I told him I won't be able to make. Can't get the time off for work, so we missed out on that one. But yeah, other than that, I think it's really only Bathurst is really the only trot track we've raced on.
Oh, so you haven't done what's the one up by Tamworth there? Corindai, is it?
Oh no, so yeah, Corindai. We've done Corindai as well. Those are the two. I really like Corindai. Corindai's a good track.
Yeah. That's on the
Not
showgrounds, isn't it?
Yeah. It's they turn it into it pretty much exactly like Bathurst. They put all their own granite and stuff on and make it ready for the bikes. Put the wall up,
Oh, yeah.
and it's always a good weekend up at Corindai because they get the fire going and the music, so it's always good for the just everybody to sit around have a few drinks.
Yeah, I heard the atmosphere is pretty good. And so do you have a lot of mates that are racing now, or is
I got a handful. A lot of my close mates don't really race. They're more party animals. So
Oh, yeah.
I stay away from. I sort of mix my social life and bike racing. But I've got a handful of mates that one of my close mates does race, but then the others they're good mates. But yeah, they've all started racing a bit of flat track now and
Oh,
slowly converting them from motocross to flat track, one bike at a time.
yeah, it's not easy, is it? Why do you
No.
reckon that is? Why do you think it? Or let me rephrase that. Do you like watching flat track?
I don't mind watching it. It's definitely when you go to some tracks like Woodstock, my local, and Bathurst, so they're really fast tracks. So I think it's when people get to watch the bikes go past as fast as they do, it's something different where the motocross, you're not going as fast realistically.
No, you're just going up in the or you're doing high jumps, and it sort of makes it seem
Yeah,
exciting. The risk factor to me, I haven't raced a lot of motocross. I've done a little bit, but I think it's pretty even, to be honest. Like
oh yeah, no, I'd agree.
you probably have more chance of necking yourself in motocross in some ways, but that's because if you get your spacing wrong, your timing wrong, you don't land,
Yeah,
you hit the ramp wrong or something like that. But I mean, when you look at ours high speed too, if you don't turn, you get run wide, you into the wall, or
yeah,
you get tangled up with something. I don't know. It seems pretty even to me, the risk taking side of the two different disciplines. I'm sure these motocrossers out there going, "No, you're totally off your rocker."
yeah. I will give it to him. The motocross is super hard. I haven't done enough of it to like. I've had one race and I had enough. I was quick to turn one, and then I'd quickly find my way to the back of the pack. But yeah, the ruts and the jumps and everything. It is a different technique on their own. But same if they come to flat track, the same goes our way. They're not used to coming into a corner, and you got to come in on the throttle instead of shutting off. You got to give it more, and then you're right on the edge of running out of steering lock and just trying to keep as much momentum.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I definitely it's two separate disciplines, but equal risk, I reckon.
Yeah. And so what's the main attraction to you, do you think? Is that adrenaline rush you get from it? Is that what sort of keeps making you come back, or the challenge? Like you said, it was a lot harder than you thought it was going to be after
Yeah,
you gave it a go for the first time. So
I'd say the adrenaline rush because there's no other fit. The first race is always the most nerve wracking one. Sitting there, not knowing if you're going to do any good at the track or what's going to happen, and then yeah, once the start goes, you just go for it and send it, and then yeah, it's either a good weekend or it's an okay weekend in my opinion.
yeah. So you
But
mean like the first race of the day?
yeah, very first race day after practice, you sort of don't know if you found your groove, and then yeah, sitting on the line looking at everyone going, if you're not 100%, you know you're going to be mid pack. You're not going to be good enough to win.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
yeah, I think
what about the fitness side? Like you were saying, now 4 to 6 laps feels like nothing. And the AFTN. Um, what do you reckon's better? You reckon those longer races? Well, we sort of already have that conclusion. The longer races are better because you get more seat time and that. But
yeah,
as far as fitness, do you think you had to be any more physically fit to do those longer races, or
oh yeah, I'd say so, 100%. Once you get to in the 15 lap, or once you get to about that lap 10ish, and you got to if you're racing somebody and you can't find your own groove, that's where I was like, now it's starting to get a bit tiring.
yeah?
But it was also yeah, you had to be fit, but the heat I reckon played a big part in it because I hate the heat. I can't stand it.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, yeah.
the second I started getting hot, I'd start choking up and I couldn't ride as good as I can.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
funny. I'm a bit like that too with the heat. As soon as I'm too warm, I don't feel like I've got any energy. But if I take my jumper off or something, then it all comes back. It's it's weird.
yeah, no,
Then I feel
100%.
then I'm feeling good again. So yeah, I overheat early, really easily and early. Like mountain bike riding, I normally just wear a t-shirt or one of those real light sort of fitness top.
Yep.
One of the guys I ride with, he's from Czech Republic, and he's got like jumpers on and a jacket
Mm,
and a wind cheater. I'm going, mate, you nuts. It's
yeah,
like 25 degrees. I don't know how he does it.
yeah. I hate the heat with a passion. Being redhead, fair skin, always getting sunburned.
Oh
And then
yeah.
yeah, Gunnedah wasn't very nice. Dad was adamant you must wear your leather suit, so I was just sweating like an animal.
Why was he adamant about that? Just the
Just
safety
because,
factors?
the safety factor, because he's always heard that the oil track's unforgiving when you crash. And
Yeah.
I wasn't on a very good track record since I broke my collarbone. I crashed every race meet I went to. So yeah, Gunnedah was the first time that I sort of broke that little curse that I had going. So yeah, it was good to come away unscathed.
Yeah, well, if you look back on it, it was three, isn't it? Since your collarbone, you've had three, so it normally comes in threes, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, since Gunnedah, it was three before that.
Yeah, so yeah, you won't have any for ages now. Years, you'll be
Yeah,
right.
touch wood, hopefully not.
Yeah, touch wood.
No, I
Yeah,
did have a
so
good run for a while, and then after the collarbone, it sort of went crumbling down pretty quick.
look, I think that's part of the learning curve. Yeah, I've seen riders throughout my time around the sport that have they'll just come off for months, like months in a row. They might not be riding every week, we're not quite America yet, but
Yeah,
they'd be riding probably a couple times during that month, three times during that month, and racing, and they're coming off and doing silly mistakes. And then it's usually the junior guys, that are starting to hit on the 250s and that sort of stuff.
yeah,
And then by the time they get the seniors, those incidents become less and less.
100%.
So I guess it's just that seat time, finding the limits, and when you're young, you sort of you're not afraid to push that bit harder. And
Yeah, once you
oops,
start
the
getting older,
limit,
you realise and works next week.
yeah, the limit's back there on the track.
Yeah, 100%.
And when
I
since you started working, have you found that plays in your mind a little bit?
I won't lie, not really. So
Yeah,
Dad's
no,
always
that's
into
all
me
right.
saying, "Oh, you got to work. Don't be careful." And I always tell him, "Yeah, no, I'll be careful." But when it comes to the final, and there's 11 other riders that are they're just as hungry.
Yeah.
You gotta push it. So it's like I've told me boss. I said I will be careful, but I make no promises. So and no, that's how it goes. It's sort of one of those things. You risk it for the biscuit, risk first reward.
Yeah, and so your boss is supportive of you racing?
Yeah, no, my bosses, they're very good. They're always happy for me to take time off and go racing whenever I need to, as long as I book it in. And whenever, like when I broke my collarbone, they were very good to me. They said, "Come in when you're ready. Don't stress. We got it covered at this point." So yeah, no, they were really good.
It's awesome, eh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
no,
you been with them for a wee while now?
yeah. So I've done my whole apprenticeship with them now. I've left school, started work with them when I think I was pretty much when I started racing. I was 16, and then just been with them ever since, and they've been really good the whole time.
Yeah, sweet. Do you want to give them a shout out? What's the business name?
Blaney Motors Service and Repairs in 38 Water Street.
Yeah, sweet. So go and check him out, and James will destroy your car for you.
Yeah, I'll try my best not to.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a quality business. They sound like top people. Yeah, anyone that gets behind a rider like that is definitely up there in my book. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no,
Nothing,
they're really good.
nothing worse than a ball busting boss that doesn't understand. That passion should come before work. I reckon. So
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
yeah, that's awesome, and you shouldn't feel bad that that you're not too worried about taking those risks. I mean, yeah, like you said, it's sort of in some ways riding more carefully can be more dangerous anyway to you, I reckon. Like,
I 100% agree. Dad's always told me, like, because Dad always likes to play the games when you're racing. Like, "Oh, don't show your cards." But whenever I've noticed I ride slower or I don't try and push like I normally do, then I just feel like I make mistakes, and I'm not used to, if something happens, I'm not ready for it in the final. I prefer to be ready for it at the start of the day.
yeah, yeah. And do you did you with the AFT, and do you like the way that it's formatted with the is it 5-5, then the four races, isn't it? Yeah, 5 minutes
Yeah.
practice, 5 minutes qualifying, then the four races. Would you like to see it not capped? So at the moment it's capped, so basically everyone's going to get the whole day of racing, or would you like that challenge of possibly not even getting into the heat?
Oh, I suppose it's hard to say because I did well in the first round, but then I sort of struggled in the rest. So I can't really speak for everyone, but I liked the format for that type of racing because it really separates if you were good, if you were bad on the day.
Yeah.
you'll be racing with the sort of same people, but then at the same time, it's a bit frustrating because if you're like me at North Brisbane, I had a moment and I broke my brake lever. So then at that point, I was at a disadvantage for the rest of my qualifying,
Yeah.
and it really cost me. Like was quick enough to make the final on the day one, but because of the no front brake, it really slowed me up. So at that point, yeah, struggled, but that's it. That's racing. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I think dirt tracks got their own little thing, and I think AFTN should stick to what they're doing because it's something different to look forward to.
Yeah. And being able to go across those different surfaces with the 19s is awesome too. I reckon, like, in saying that with Aussie dirt track, every track is different anyway.
Oh,
Even though they're sand granite or deco or however you want to call it, they are all different. Like,
yeah, 100%.
corners, obviously, the shape, the length of the straights, how packed it is, how ripped it is, all those come into.
Yeah.
And
Well,
even if you go to the same track, that changes all the time too. So
yeah, 100%. Well, Corinda, every year I've raced at Corinda, it's been slightly different in terms of the corner, the width, how thick it is. It's always, every year it's been different, which has been good. You're not going there knowing the track, knowing your gearing, knowing what you're going to do. You sort of got to learn, and everyone's got to face the same challenge.
yeah. So do they surface it every time they do it? Do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. They throw a whole heap. I don't know the material name, blue granite dust or whatever it's called, but
Yeah.
it's a really thick track in the beginning of the weekend, and then as the weekend goes, they'll drag and it gets better and better and better. But then that really changes your gearing depending whether you want to get it to eat through or a lot of things like that change just because of the thick track.
So we sort of touched on it, but not really. You said you did a little bit of motocross. Is there any other motorbike disciplines you've done? You done road
Um,
racing or motard or anything like that?
no, I've never done anything like that. I've done a lot of, I wouldn't say done a lot. Do a bit of bush riding. So I
Oh yeah,
started off
yeah,
in the bush before, I think for 6 months before I started doing flat track. And now it's more so whenever I might message some of the boys and they'll be like, yeah, right, we'll go out the forest for the day and we'll just go out, find some random places, go some wicked spots and we'll do
yeah.
that. But other than that, that's really all I do, flat track and enduro.
Do you
And
have
then
another bike set up for the enduro or?
yeah, so I got a 300 two-stroke, and it was the first bike I ever saved up and paid for myself. I
Oh, yeah.
was buying and selling cows and working through my school holidays just to try and make some money, and then saved up enough. And
Hold on, reverse there. You were what, buying and selling cows?
yeah, mum had 5 acres, so I was buying and selling cows, feeding
Yeah,
them
right.
up, selling them off. And back then the prices were good. You'd buy them for only a couple hundred, and then you'd sell them for like close to 1,000. So you were making
Yeah,
pretty good profit percentages. And then
yeah,
I'd work through my school holidays non-stop at the tire joint. And then, after a year or two, saved up enough money and then bought that. I was lucky enough to get, I think it was the first year that the KDM brought out the Erzberg edition bike.
oh yeah,
I,
yeah,
I asked Dad, I'm like, could you tip in the extra little bit? And I'd get one of the 500 Erzbergs. And that was my first bike that I ever paid for and bought. And
yeah,
that's
right.
what I used to go out in the forest and flog around with the boys. And it's good fun.
Yeah, sweet. Was it a 500 or 300?
300 two-stroke.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought you said 500.
Uh, we got a few of those, but saved them for flat track, going around in circles.
Yeah, sweet. And I mentioned to you before off here before we started the pod that I was actually filming and your old man and his mate there, your support team was yelling at you and stuff. And I think it was it was definitely round 5 on the oval. It was the race Brendan crashed out on and broke his foot actually, and I think you won it in the end after the restart. And they were
Yeah, I
yelling
did.
at
Yep.
what I'm assuming is your nickname, which is Chop. So tell us the story behind that.
Well, the funny bit is, it was sort of no one's nickname. Dad's terrible at remembering people's names. So when he works, everyone's Chop. So I'm Chop, you're Chop, everyone's Chop. You just go, "Oi, Chop, what are you doing?" And then he slowly he calls everyone, and then it went to me, and then it just started sticking. I think it was Dad would say, "Come on, Chop," and then one of the blokes I know, Michael Vecchi, before he passed, he'd always scream out, "Come on, Chop!" And that sort of after that, it sort of stuck. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
now Chop's the nickname when I go racing. So that's yeah.
Yeah, okay. Ah,
So it's
sweet. Yeah, bit of a backstory there. That's good.
yeah, no, 100%.
And so you did mention a bit of training. Is there a bit of a training regime that you do, a training program, let's call it, off the bike as well? Anything
Um,
you follow or?
oh, I'm not the best when it comes to gym stuff, lifting weights. I sort of know the basics, but I do more so just I'll go to the gym, do a bit of weights, and then do a lot of cardio just to try and stay light. Because nowadays, with all these kids coming up from juniors, they're all wringing wet, weighing nothing, and I've got to
Yeah,
try and keep up.
oh, they're so skinny, eh? Like
Yeah, so
I look at them and holy, yeah, there's nothing to them. They're like jockeys, some of them.
yeah, 100%, and it makes it difficult. So for like Bathurst long track, I'll I'll skim down on my portion sizes for eating, and I'll lose a few kilos just to try and make it a bit easier.
Yeah.
Hit the gym, and yeah, just try and stay as light as possible because the power to
So
weight
so
ratio.
yeah, right. I was going to say for the people that don't know why it's easier, did you want to explain? But you basically said it in a nutshell, then, didn't you? So yeah, the lighter you are, the less power you're sucking out of the engine, I guess.
Yeah,
Because
hundred
it's not.
percent.
Yeah, right. So yeah, just a bit of. Oh, do you get on a pushy or anything?
Oh, not really. I don't really have they're all at my mum's house, so I sort of don't ride them. Especially with work nowadays, it's sort of to go riding anywhere. You're sort of going for for a long bike ride, like 20 k's is minimum if you want to go anywhere.
That's all right. That's about right, isn't it? That's about
Yeah,
good.
I'm not that fit. I won't be bloody. I've done it once on a bloody BMX bike and never
Oh
again.
shit. Oh yeah, well that was a BMX. You know, a road
Yeah,
bike would be quite different. 20K, yeah, you'd shitter then.
yeah, no, it was a bit of a spontaneous decision. That one, we made. I think it was on a Saturday Arvo. And it was the hottest day of the year back in like 2018. And we were like, oh, let's go for a ride. And we just kept riding. Next thing you know, we're like 20 k's to the next town. No water, nothing. Just, yeah, it was torture, that one.
Yeah, right. And what other stuff do you like doing, like when you're not around bike?
Um, sort of, I'll go out with all my mates and we'll go have a bit of fun, run amok. But other than that, I sort of,
What, like nightclubs or pubs or?
oh, yeah, sort of just go to the pubs with the boys and get something to eat, have a few drinks, have a good night.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's sort of normally mostly bikes. Get if it's not, I think what was it? I seen something. There's two seasons. There's race season, and then there's getting ready for race season. So it's always I finished racing for the year, but we're already getting ready for Bathurst just to make sure everything's right. So it's
You gotta
90%.
make sure you have a bit of a break too. Do you listen to the tank slapping pod at all?
Tank
The
slapping. Oh,
Yeah, Corey texted the American one.
I don't think I haven't. I don't really listen to podcasts very often, if I'm being honest. I might
Yeah, okay.
watch. I watch like 10, 15 minutes of one, and then I'll end up doing something else, or I'll yeah sort of lose interest, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, fair enough. So you're a bit more of a tinkerer. You'd rather be out in the garage doing something or
Yeah, there's always something to do around here. So if I'm not working on bikes, I'm working on cars, or I'm just listening to music, doing one or the other.
are you still doing the cows?
Yeah, no, not nowadays. I sort of stopped. I sort of got during the droughts, or the prices went downhill really bad. So it wasn't really worth it in the long run. You're sort of losing money if you were doing
Yeah.
it. So at that point, I sort of stopped, and then yeah, started a full-time job. So it sort of all went out the window. But yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah, I
The
find
economy.
that interesting. It sounds like you've got a bit of an inner businessman happening there.
Oh, well, it'd be a lot to do with mum and dad. They sort of started doing it, and then I realised, well, you can make a bit of money here. So I was like, oh, I work through school holidays, so if I spend this much, can I do this? And they're like, righto. So then, yeah, sort of went from there.
So
Done it for 2, 3 years, and then yeah, made a bit of money out of it.
yeah, I know a couple young people that do greyhounds, and they actually do really well with the greyhounds. It's yeah, it's interesting some of the side things you can do, and you wouldn't normally think of.
Yeah, 100%.
Think the country, living in the country creates some good opportunities. It look like seem a bit bizarre to some city slickers, but
Yeah, no,
it
100%.
sounds,
It's definitely different out here.
it sounds like perfect sense to me.
Mm, nah,
Um,
100%.
Yeah, what was I going to? I had. Oh, yeah. So I was going on about the American stuff. So you don't watch much of the AFT?
Oh no, I do. I subscribe to their page and I watch it every time it's on. I'll go back and I'll watch it because I like watching Tommy Drain race, and it's good to see him go so well over there. So I always watch it because it's something different.
Yeah.
Any form of race, and I'll get behind and start watching.
Yeah, right. So you subscribe to Fan Choice?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I like being able to watch it. When I first started following it, they used to have the last race or main event, they call them over there on YouTube, and then they took them off YouTube and they only had the qualifying, and that's when I went, oh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to pay for this because I want to see the real racing, not just the
yeah.
qualifying.
No, and it is very interesting because they're so close over there that it's not always like Cody Cop and Tom. They've done so well, but it could be anyone's game over the 8 minutes, and it showed.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and that's one of the reasons I've always wanted that here because you can really see the advantage of having those longer formatted races,
Yeah,
whether it's a bad start or you're just not quite finding your groove, and then like four laps or let's say 2 minutes and 2 laps to go or something like that, they just start finding a line that's hooking up for them, and next minute they're coming around the outside from like sixth to third, and might
yeah,
be getting the podium. I think it's pretty awesome when it's
no,
like that, and
100%.
that's like what I was saying with the AFT, and that's why I think it makes good tally. It's a little bit more interesting than the four lap sprint races, which can be good.
Yeah,
They can be exciting, like super exciting, but if someone gets a whole shot in the breakaway, it's sort of like there's no way anyone's going to get them unless they totally F it up,
yeah,
like make a
100%.
bad mistake. So,
I
so
think
yeah, from
Bathurst
the
is that's what makes Bathurst a much enjoyable race to watch as well because it's such a longer race. It's sort of the 5 6 laps at the final that they did. It sort of made it a fair bit longer, so you could catch up if you got a bad start, but it was still hard if you didn't get a good start.
yeah,
It was sort of
it's the corners at Bathurst, isn't it? They just feel so long. It feels like you could pull off 2 or 3 tear offs while you're going through
oh,
there.
I learnt my lesson the first year. I went out in practice and I was pulling tear offs and I was out in front. I've never had that on a track before, but
Yeah,
Bathurst,
well,
yeah,
all right.
yeah, I think it was just because the dirt was flicking off the front fender and we were going that fast, we were just catching up to it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and and then yeah, the racing. I think the first race I put 7 tear offs on. I pulled all 7 off in the first race just because you pulled 2 going down the straight, and then every lap you're doing that, and it was just costly.
So, what are your goals with your racing? Are you looking at going overseas at all? You're going to keep it at home? Is there
I
something you really want to win? Like obviously an Aussie title, an Aussie dirt track on the 450.
Yeah, 100%. I'd like to. The dream would be to go over to America and race over there, but I think at this point, after the collarbone, we're sort of gone, taken a step back and realised we've got to really try hard and get good here before we can go over there.
Yeah,
But that's the dream. But then in terms of other goals, I think winning an Aussie title and a state title on the 450 is up there. We've come close, but yeah, Bathurst is probably another one. Dad's always wanted to win that one just because it's his favourite race. He wants to win it, and I got close coming third. But we've got a fast bike now, and don't want to be too cocky, but I would like to have a good crack and try and win it.
yeah.
And yeah, I think if I ride well and bike's going good, we've got a good chance at doing well if we get a good start.
Well, yeah, with having Max and Tom back from America and racing at Gunnedah, do you think that was a good measure? Like, I don't think they were holding back. I think they were racing as hard as they normally would. Do you think
Well,
that gives you a good idea of how you might place if you did go over there, like say now, without another season on the 19?
yeah, no, 100%. They always are good to base, like judge yourself off. And I've been doing that with because Tom's from Forbes. It's sort of only just around the corner, really. It's only an hour and a half away. So ever since I started racing, I've always been following Tom, never been racing him. And I've come close to beating him a few times, but he's got such an amazing skill of staying pinpoint perfect. And then when it matters, he'll push. And you really see the other side of Tom where it's like, wow, yeah, okay. You got to step it up another level to be as quick as him.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, that's the hardest bit with Tom. he's good to judge off, but if you get close, he'll definitely step it up another level, and you got to try and do that again just to keep up with him.
Yeah, it's funny because I've been told a lot, oh, you shouldn't try to compare because there's so many different variables, like obviously the track and all. Maybe they've got a cold on that day and you didn't know all that sort of stuff. But I still think you can sort of use it as a bit of a measure. And yeah, I was
Oh,
looking at them
100%.
and looking at our riders and like, that's the great thing about the Aussie flat track nationals is. Um, if that was on sand granite, and no offence intended here to Tom Herrick at all, but at Brisbane he struggled. At Appin he was pretty good, but would he have been in the middle of Tom and Max, and there might have been other riders like Billy and Reedy, and who knows, that would have actually been able to give them more of a push on a sand granite track. And I think that's the great thing about those rounds being all on different surfaces. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Tom and Max on all three different surfaces, all three different tracks. But yeah, I think our riders over here are pretty high up and pretty good quality is what I'm getting at. So I think you'd probably, I don't know if you'd top 10, but I reckon you'd still give people a bit of a shot,
Yeah, depends
I
on the
think you,
day. If I'm feeling racy, I'm
oh,
I'm normally I'm
oh,
up
that's
there. I'm
right.
pretty good.
And those, in saying that too, you love Bathurst. That's a good flowing track. A lot of those, from what I gather, I haven't been there obviously myself, but a lot of those tracks over there are pretty wide and pretty big. So
Yeah,
their half miles are Bathurst,
yeah, pretty
trotting track.
much.
So we don't have the mile tracks like they do, which is twice as
Yeah,
big as Bathurst. So
and but no, that's what I really like the long open track like that Woodstock and is pretty much what I started racing on, and it's about the same size as Bathurst. So it's sort of from the get go. I've always liked the whole big long track, fast commitment, and yeah, Bathurst it's another level. Like if you get a good start, it helps, and yeah, you can pretty much move from there. And yeah, it's one of those things. If you're feeling good on the day, you can beat any of the riders. Like if I'm looking back at all my results, like I've beaten pretty much everybody besides Tom Drain in the whole racing career I've raced. I've at least beat everybody once, but it just comes down to the track and how everyone's feeling.
yeah, yeah,
And
right.
it's one of those things. It doesn't matter who you're racing; it's what you can do on the day and on the track.
And what about what do you think the benefits are of racing all different types of tracks? Like you talk about Woodstock a fair bit, you've raced here a lot, and that's got a incline and a descent. So turn 1 and 2 are going downhill slightly, and then turn 3 and 4 are coming uphill. It's got the right track, haven't I? You're talking about Cara, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cara's
yeah,
Woodstock. Yeah,
yeah. And then you might go over to somewhere like Tamora, which you don't obviously race that much, or Gunnedah. But do you think racing all those different tracks is a huge benefit, like even for your Aussie dirt track?
Oh, 100%. It just helps you in terms of the experience, knowing that if the bike's doing this, you can change it because you knew if you went to a hard track and the bike was reacting that way, you know how to set it up for a hard track, and then a soft track's different. It's just racing all over the place. It helps. It brings you forward regardless, and then just setting up your bike as well. It helps so much. Going from place to place, everything's different, so you got to change stuff.
Do you have a preference to a deep or a harder track?
I definitely like a nice soft loamy track.
Yeah, yeah.
That's normally my favorite. Just so, I've always struggled on the harder tracks. Like whenever Woodstock went hard, I always struggled because I was so small and it'd always spin up. But yeah, I like a nice thick track, just giving it the biscuits and letting it eat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That because some people, I know a few riders that like it when it's skatey like that. I quite like it when it's bit harder and skatier. That's because my practice track, that's what it's like out here.
Yeah,
So I'm sort of used to that, and I don't mind a deep track. It just takes me a few laps to get used to it, to
yeah,
remember. Oh, that's right. I just need to keep it on harder. No.
mm,
So that it
yeah,
does do what you're saying, hook up and eat. So
yeah.
yeah. And what do you reckon about these twin motorcycles?
Oh, I don't mind them. I suppose they go good in America because of the big tracks and stuff, and they're set up solely for that. But over here, you look at them and they look like they've been pulled straight off the road and thrown 19s on and sending it.
Well, they have.
And and it is. I don't mind them, but I'd
Yeah.
much prefer the 450s just because that's what I've always ridden. But I'm not going to stay. I'll stay open minded because I'd give it a go if I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd stick to me 450 at this point.
Well, yeah, I've always been of the same opinion. I've always loved twins, though. Like On Any Sunday was the first movie I saw flat tracking, and always wanted to race a Harley since then. And I don't know why. I just looks cool. It looks like a good thing to do, you know. But like you're saying, over here we're very our twins are very grassroots and probably verging on hooligans more style
Yeah,
of twins racing, which I think's great. But I do love the different sound and the lower center of gravity. And I actually just bought one, so
yeah, righto.
we're gonna. So this is a news breaking moment on the pod. So we're actually are going to be racing the twin next year. Hopefully, I'll have it all put together properly. It's still got 17s on it at the moment, but
Yeah, righto. What is it?
it's a Harley Davidson XG 750.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a stat write off. So got a good bargain, and I thought, well, I've been saying I wanted to do it. So yeah, I might. I'm aiming to race it at Bathurst if I can get it ready in time.
Yep.
And then I've got someone possibly lined up to ride it in the AFTN. But yeah, we'll see. That's all got to come around, and because I'm doing this rebrand thing at the moment, I don't know if you've seen any of that. So I'm doing that as well. So yeah, hopefully I can make the time to get it finished. But I took it in normal stock trim, the way it all comes on the road. Took it out on the track the other day, and I was amazed. Actually, I was really amazed how the suspension and that handled, and I thought it was going to be really terrible. And yeah, I was tipping it in a bit, but road tires on, so not too hard. But
Yeah.
it was lighting up, and yeah, it's just I've got an old XT 500 that I love because it's low as well, and my RT actually 360, and it was sort of like that. So just that low center of gravity really feels planted. I can't wait to get jet tires on it, and yeah, actually give it a good squiz. Went down on the bitumen and found 200 pretty quick. So it's got a
Yeah, I
bit
could imagine it'd
it's,
go at the clappers.
it's got a bit of guts. Yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I had to slip it in somewhere.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, so you might get a idea if we hook up at a practice day somewhere.
Yeah,
I'll
righto.
I'll I'll bring it up. You can have a go.
Yeah, righto. No, that'll be pretty tricky. It'll be an eye opener for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm planning either to have two wheel sets, one with American tires on it, one with blocks on it, probably the Kelpie block front and back.
Yep.
So that if I go to, because Broadford dirt tracks quite often pretty deep,
Yep.
and so even if it's got American tire on the block on the front to give it a little bit more confidence. But yeah, it's early days yet. Just got to get out there and get seat time, and well, get it set up and then get seat time on it. But yeah, looking forward to that. Should be
Yeah,
good.
no, 100%.
And my bloody 450 is not going again for some reason, so
Yeah,
we've
nothing
got to
worse
get
when
that.
they're temperamental.
It's been really good until lately, and yeah, I think it's the valves. I think it's the valves that we reset the clearances and everything, and then it was good for about 4 or 5 meetings, and then it just won't start again. So,
Yeah, righto.
got to get something sorted there.
Yep.
But
No, there's
yeah,
nothing worse when they won't start. You're just sitting there scratching your head going, why?
yeah, that's right. It did all the basics. It's not any of the basics, but
Yep.
it's just another thing to fix it. That's I sort of actually I didn't ask you your opinion on electric bikes. What do you think about that?
Oh, I'd give it a go. After seeing the Stark Bar go around at Albury and seeing how fast they could really go, I think Dad got all keen. Dad wants to get one.
Yeah,
I told him it'd be a headache, no doubt, but I reckon they'd be pretty good. I think I watched a bit of flat track in the UK and there was a dude running an electric bike, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, it
And
was
it
one
was
of the brothers, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it just as competitive. If you can figure out the torque curve and ride it how you're supposed to ride, I think it'll be just as competitive as 450. I don't know about this 80 horsepower on a bloody long track like Bathurst. I think that's going to be a bit OP with how much power we're putting out. But I suppose you're paying for that extra bit at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, on that note of horsepower, like with your normal combustion engine, do you think it's as necessary with the American tires?
It sort of depends. In America, I would say yes, with having a lot of horsepower, because a lot of their tracks are pretty big, and they've obviously got different motors for different tracks, different tunes. But
Yeah,
over
it's a little.
here, having all my horsepower for dirt track on the flat track, it was hard at Appin and Brisbane. It was definitely tricky because you had to figure it out. But for Gunnedah, it made life easy. Just sort of come out, give it the full biscuits, and you could tell the difference if somebody had a standard motor, and you'd sort of just go straight past them. You didn't have to push too hard.
Yeah, because on the oil, it's a lot grippier, isn't it? It just hooks up. It's pretty
Yeah,
much
100%.
straight away. But you can change the mapping on your KDMs, can you?
Yeah, so Dave sets it up so that we can change it, but we can't get too much difference because with how much horsepower we're pushing. So we sort of like, I ended up having to, at Brisbane, I ended up going into the vortex and riching it right up just to lose a bit of bottom end horsepower. And
Yeah,
then other than that, that's if I want a dramatic change, but I can't really change it too much.
yeah, okay.
As
And
we discussed of the dyno, if we want to lose horsepower, just don't give it as much throttle.
yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of sayings comes out of the Swady pit, doesn't there? There's a lot of sayings being thrown around.
Oh,
I
we'll throw anything around. There's something I hear I like it, I'll throw it around. Don't care. Whatever.
How
It is
did
what
you
it
go
is.
at the Aussie Dirt Track titles in Albury?
I wasn't actually going to go to begin with. I was sort of on the fence. I didn't want to go because I'm not a huge fan of dirt track. But then I thought, why not? Rang mum. Mum was like, yeah, I'll come. So we went for a drive and went all right. Struggled with the gates. I'm normally always pretty good at my starts, but I just struggled with the gates as everyone obviously struggled. It was self penalising, as they said.
Yeah,
But yeah, I didn't go too bad. I got second on the 250, and then I just got two shocking starts on the 450. I think I got seventh or eighth in the first one, and then I got tangled up. I was at the back of the pack, and I got tangled up with me mate Grant Sharnock, and yeah, ended up DNFing and trashed my shoulder. So it was a good and bad weekend, I'd say.
so are you good friends with Grant?
Yeah, no, we're pretty good. Me and Grant get along pretty well because we're easy going. It is what it is.
Yeah. Do you know how he pulled up after the Vix? Is he back home
Um,
and all right?
I don't think he's home. I haven't. Dad's told me bits and pieces on what his injuries are, but I haven't heard a lot of the details on what's going on and what they're doing. So I've sort of stayed out of it a little bit and just wishing him well. Hopefully he's going all good.
Yeah, hopefully it's going all good. Yeah, I was just interested because I did send him a message because we were there. I was actually commentating, just sent him a message, hope that he's all good, but didn't hear anything. I was just yeah, hoping that he is on the mend. And yeah, it was pretty full on. But do you have any do you have any fears with your racing like that or
Not really. I don't think about it. Like it's definitely there, but I never think about it. It'd be terrible if I become a quadriplegic or a paraplegic. That's probably the only thing I'm worried about. Not being able to ride my bike or going blind. That'd kill me.
yeah, well shouldn't be laughing really, should I? But
Yeah, we shouldn't, but that's the reality of a bike rider. We all just want to ride our bike regardless. We don't care what happens.
yeah, and I guess you know you've been in a wheelchair for quite a long period of time. What was it? 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
for 4 years, I think it was total.
that's a long time. You probably don't want to repeat that.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but it definitely sucked being as like loving sport as much as I do. It definitely sucked not being able to play certain things or
Yeah.
go out with my friends and do stuff, but it is what it is. That's racing.
So do you play a bit of league or something as well? Or
No, so I've always played a bit of soccer. I was really good at my
oh,
soccer. Once I was out of the wheelchair, I wasn't allowed to do anything contact sports, so I just done soccer and got pretty good at it and stuck to that. And then yeah, started racing, and then the soccer went downhill once I shattered my ankle. Surprisingly, you can't run with a podgy ankle.
yeah.
But yeah, that was roughly about it. Played half a dozen games of school footy. Scored one or two tries. That's probably my only claim to fame. I don't really
Yeah.
do much football, so yeah.
Yeah. Would you say that soccer is a non-contact sport?
Oh,
It was
being as
pretty rough when
small,
I played.
yeah, being as small as I am against some of the big blokes, I definitely copped a few big hits and it started a few punch-ons. But
Yeah.
other than that, it was yeah, I'd sort of stay out of it, use my skill, stay away
That's,
from the big boys.
yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because it is considered like you see them falling over on YouTube and those sort of videos and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I
And,
hate watching that. Yeah.
but I think that's not real club level soccer. Like when I played club level soccer, it was pretty rough. Like
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
we had punch ons and trip people over and punch them, and
yeah,
it's not like we're pretty tough. Like it's
yeah.
not like
No, that sounds
I
pretty
guess they
familiar
call
to me.
that A League or something, but yeah, I can't remember soccer being like that. I've never seen anyone fall over and fake an ankle or anything.
Yeah. So yeah, when right before I broke my ankle for I think 3 years, I was 13, 14, 15. I played I think it was B or C grade men's,
Oh yeah,
just because we were sort of our local team wasn't the best, so we sort of moved up just playing with the men, and that's when I really seen how physical it can get with the punch ons. And yeah, if anybody ever laid down or tried to milk a penalty, yeah, they copped a serving pretty quick, as they deserve, I reckon.
yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's just rubbish. That's I think yeah, I don't actually because I don't watch that football in the UK and their series and or the World Series or anything. But yeah, surely that's exaggerated.
Oh,
Those videos.
100%, yeah. Anything to
Um,
milk a penalty and win a game, I reckon.
yeah, so we were talking about your future a bit before going across to America, but you're going to work a bit harder here. And what about on your Aussie dirt track? Have you got a bit of a calendar sorted out next year? What's your aim for next season?
Next season, I think I'm going to probably take a step. I'm not too sure. I haven't really thought about it yet. I've just been focusing on Bathurst, but it'll definitely be chase the big meets or the cups, like Brisbane Cup. Probably we're going to miss that this year just because it's so far away.
Yeah,
But like just chase all the cup meets, chase the big title meets, and anything with prize money. Really, just try and go to the higher end meets and stay away from the club meets, I think.
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, try and focus real hard, get an Aussie title on my 450 or state title, one or the other.
Yeah, you won't do a few club meets to just keep fresh for the seat time.
Yeah, 100. I'll keep going to the Woodstock, the local, but before we used to sort of go all over, we'd go a lot of places just doing club meets when I was
Oh
younger,
yeah.
and I sort of nowadays doing a lot of it myself. It's a bit harder, so just wait for the big meets, go to the locals, and yeah, that'll be about it.
So what do you mean by doing a lot of it more yourself? You mean you're having to pay for fuel and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, no, 100%. Then like dad's mum and dad still help a lot. Sponsors still help, but being a mechanic, we don't get paid a lot, and it's hard. So nowadays I pay for a lot of fuel, tires. I drive myself, so I've got to pay for that as well. And a lot of it, yeah, with the economy, as you said, nowadays it's so expensive. So yeah, sort of just focus on the bigger meets to save a bit of money and pour money into them. And yeah, nowadays, especially with making the bike fast as well, it's so expensive just trying to do it to be competitive.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm 21, I pay for a little bit myself. Go out to the diner, go out to West Wyong and stuff. So it's always just trying to do it myself, be as independent as possible.
And do you think money in our sport's a good thing, or do you think it's sort of unnecessary? Because it's a bit of a divided thing. I've discovered.
What do you mean by like prize money?
Yeah, so being paid as a racer, or prize money, or yeah, any financial gains from racing. I guess I'm meaning.
It helps, but it's not. I don't think it's. I'm going to probably be a bit harsh. I don't think it's good enough for how much money we have to spend on entries to get what we get back. So, like, if on a 250, if you're just racing a 250 and you spend $150 to enter the one class, if you come first, you're only getting 300, so you're only doubling your money. But by the time you buy a tire to race, buy fuel, you're already down on money.
Yeah,
And it's like, and the 450 class, you got to have at least 2 or 3 tires ready. So that's already $1,000 there ready to
yeah.
go. So you have to come first to cover your money. And then that doesn't cover entry. So I personally think that it should be a bit more. But then at the end of the day, if we want more money, they're probably going to charge us more for entries. So what do we
Well,
do?
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's about who's involved in the sport and who we can get involved in the sport. I'm a big believer that we can have a pro ranking here. There's quite a few people I've spoken to. I'm not going to name drop any of them because you'd be surprised at who some of them are. And
Yep.
and yeah, they always go back to that the population's not big enough. Well, I call horse shit on that because we still have millionaires and multimillionaires in our
Yeah,
country.
100%.
I think it's more about having the right people involved and having the right contacts and you know yeah, hopefully I'll stumble across that right person someday and be able to talk them into investing into their passion, because that's what we all do. We invest in our passion, buying these bikes, we support bike shops, support bike build engine builders and suspension builders and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of those guys do put back and give back as far as sponsorship and like you say, some monetary donations, as far as like sponsorship packages and that sort of stuff. But they'll go towards prize money, but they're spread right across the event during the club for, going towards helping put the event on as well. So the riders don't, they get a portion of it, like you say, a small portion. And it's not being disrespectful. It's just the way it is at the moment. And
Yeah.
I do think we can build on it. And I really do hope that you guys can get a bit of return. And then like we spoke to Corey Texter on one of our podcasts, and he hosts the Tank Slapping. He's the production twins multiple champion in America and that. And he a lot of the time will say, it's a rider's responsibility to create a product to be marketed and to make money from and earn your money that way as well. But and I agree with that. I think that's something
Yeah.
that we could improve on here is um, riders and a lot of our Australian riders just aren't used to doing that. But I think it's something, and that's why I was mentioning that stuff you put on Facebook. It's fantastic. That's what we need, more of that sort of stuff, and it creates more interest. The more eyes we have, the more appealing it is to bigger sponsors. This year, even next year, may not be the right time to catch that big fish, but you don't know if we don't try. We just keep trying. The economic thing's not great, but it's always existed. There's always been hard times
Yeah.
through all the past. So,
Yeah,
but
that's how it
yeah,
goes.
I really do think that it's not a population thing. I think it's more about having the right people in the right place and yeah, people with money that are willing to invest it in a passion because that's and yeah, and you see the same in America is they actually have the same problem as us, but they do get paid. Not all of them, but they do get paid more than we do. So
Yep.
but yeah, they do have the same problems. They're getting people to the track and all that sort of stuff. The social media side, live streaming, shouldn't they, all that sort of thing. I quite like the fan choice package, and I don't actually mind paying for it. The footage
Yeah,
is
no, same here, same here.
the coverage is really good, and I think I'd rather pay for something that's professionally put together like that than see someone just like basically what I do now for free, just following around with one camera.
Yeah.
um, yeah, but eventually someone will eventually come with a multiple camera setup, and we might have to pay for it. But as long as it's good, I don't mind. The
Yeah, I think if
racing.
it's televised, there's more people that can click on it, watch it from home. And I think like the live streams that they do for Bathurst and some races, they're always good because so many people that can't make to the track or can't watch it, and then have a reason to click on it and watch it. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, well, my brother was watching me from New Zealand. Him, my mum, my brother, my dad. None of them live together. They all live in separate houses. They were all watching Bathurst from their homes. So two in New Zealand, one over here. That's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, no,
And
100%.
and yeah, they were just watching to see me get my ass kicked, but. But there is something in it. There's definitely some. Something's happened to my microphone. 1 minute. I'm just going to pause it.
No,
All right, we're back. I just had a weird moment with a thing come up on my screen saying my microphone wasn't working. But James swears it was, so hopefully, hopefully
No,
it's all
all
good.
good.
You seem to be able to hear me.
Yeah, no, I can still hear. It's clear as day over here.
So is that Aubrey, that photo behind you there?
Yes, it is. I before we joined, I was sitting there playing around. I didn't know what I was doing, so I just started pressing random buttons, and then I figured out how to put this up. So I thought I'll do that. That'll be right.
Yeah, sweet. Is that from the Aussies?
Yeah, no, it was. There was a few pretty good photos from the Aussies, and I saved them all for my little camera
What
roll. And
what bike's that one? Your 450 or your 250?
that's my 450. Just
Yeah,
coming through
right.
turn one off the start.
Yeah, because I was looking, I'm going, oh, the rubber fence, and it's that's a motocross track behind it, so
Yeah,
there's, it must be Aubrey. Because Broadwood's got a bit of a fence like that too, but you'd see a chain mesh behind it. So,
yeah, right.
have you ridden at Broadwood, mate?
No, I've never been there. I haven't gone south very many times. I've only really gone to Albury, and that's sort of the furthest I've been really down south.
Yeah, okay. So you've never ridden Mildura either.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No,
Well, we're hoping to pull a few more people into Victoria next year. I don't know if you've seen I put out. Are you a big social media dude or not really?
oh, not not big heaps. I dabble is probably the right word.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I put out a bit of a survey, which has got some pretty interesting results. I actually want to put it out again and see if we can get a few more. But about if we ran a similar Victorian flat track series down here. So if people would travel and race it and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I'm a bit reluctant to put it on if we're only gonna get, 5 people in,
Yeah,
which
no,
is
100%.
the Kelpie Cup, I mean, yeah, the most entries we've had is 8. So yeah, if I'm going to put on multiple classes similar to the AFTN, we can't have 8 people rocking up. It's not
Yeah,
gonna,
no,
it's not gonna work. So
yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm
I took
hearing you.
sort of put the feelers out, and I got quite a few from up your way as well, which was good, and quite a few locals around Victoria. But yeah, I'd like to see a few more before I think it will go ahead, but yeah, I need to see a little bit more input. But it's Christmas time too. I guess people are focused on other stuff, but I'll keep putting it out there. We'll try to get a few more feedbacks. So keep an eye out and give me your opinion, James.
Yeah, righto. I'll get what's that on Facebook?
Yeah, on the Kelpie page on Facebook, it'll be on there, and
Yeah,
on
righto.
my
I'll give it
and
a
on
look. I'll
on
have a
my
squiz.
Instagram. Yeah, so that's your homework.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll get onto it.
Oh, sweet, mate. Well, thanks so much for putting up with me and coming on the pod. One thing we haven't done, well, actually, a couple of things. What's your favourite food?
Mac and cheese.
Oh, you're kidding. Yeah, right.
No, I'll cut some slack for that. Homemade mac and cheese. Always
Why
happy
will,
for it.
why will you get slack for that? There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, all my mates reckon it's the worst food, so
Oh,
I could only
really?
imagine people go, it's shit, it's terrible. Why would you eat that?
Do you have bacon in it and that sort of stuff? Bacon,
No,
tomato?
no, I'm straight flour, milk, butter, make the sauce, boil the pasta, put some chips in. I'm good, sorted.
Yeah, right. Yeah, nice. Yeah, we
That's my
we used to have mac and cheese I think it was every Monday. But now with sport commitments and stuff, we don't tend to do it as consistently. But
yeah, righto.
Pizza Friday sort of taken over, which is homemade pizzas. There.
Yeah, oh, that'd be
Yeah.
just as good. I love a good pizza.
Oh yeah, no, it's hard to buy pizzas now because we're so used to our own pizzas, and you can put whatever you want. Like we make the dough and everything. You can put
Yeah,
your favorite toppings on and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah.
yeah,
When
that's
I
awesome.
lived at home, I was doing the same thing. Why buy a pizza when you can just make it? Piece of piss, really.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And yeah, the other one was, do you want to shout out all your sponsors? Do
Oh,
you have many
100%.
sponsors? Yeah.
I have a few that'll everyone helps. It's like mum and dad are a big help. Beard Brothers Motorcycles in Bathurst, they're massive help at the moment. Link International, they sort me out. Modal Australia. Dave Norris from West Wyalong, he always helps. And Collins Cranes, they always pay for my fuel to go travelling, which they like to be sort of quiet, but I'll shout them out because why not?
Yeah, that's a big
And
thing. yeah.
And I think Timmy Tobin and anyone else I've forgotten. I can't remember. You sort of put me on the spot.
What do you mean I put you on the spot? You've known
I'm
about the
sort, I'm
pod for
sort
about
of.
a week.
I won't lie. Today was a big day at work, so everything sort of just went out the window. And I said, I got home and I was like, I just want to sleep. I was like, oh, the podcast. I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Well, lucky I sent the reminder then.
Yeah, lucky you did. I forgot all about it until today.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was like that yesterday. I'm going, because I've got a desktop calendar here. What do you call it? Like planner, tabletop planner thing here. And then
Yep.
inside, I don't have it. I'm not allowed to write this stuff on my inside calendar anymore because it's the family one. So,
Yeah, right.
so I'm constantly going, what's on that calendar? I think I've just got to take photo of it. And then I came in and went, oh yeah, there's a pod. That's good. It is James. So yeah, so no, it's good to get the pods happening again. We've had a slight break. Tom's pretty busy at the moment too, Christmas and moving houses and all that sort of stuff. I don't know. Do you know Tom Norvey at all?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
He's been doing a bit of sort of. Unfortunately, I don't know. It might be fortunate, but it's a bit of a rat bag, is Tom. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, no, it's good. He's good values having Tom on board. It gives he thinks of questions I don't think of, and sort of he tells me what my mistakes are and stuff, so it keeps me in line. So it's good having someone around like that. And
No, always.
yeah, when it's not him, usually Brendo will come on and that, but they're all busy. They're all busy being young people and doing their stuff. And
Yeah, it is that time of the year too. So
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's why I was half an hour late. But
yeah, it's all good.
it's almost over. I hate Christmas. I am the Christmas Grinch, and yeah, I get hammered every year about being the Christmas Grinch. It's partly because I'm Dutch and I hate spending money. Also, but
Oh,
it's usually on useless shit. I mean, you've already got
oh, yeah,
all.
100%.
I hate that useless shit. I mean, the motorbike, yeah, fine. If they want a motorbike, we'll give them one.
No,
As long as I'm
well,
allowed to ride it.
yeah. Mum's always like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, some new gear, something not bike related." What else do I do that's not bike related?
Well, yeah, tools, but that's sort of bike related too, I guess,
I
isn't
was
it?
going to say I've bought enough tools I don't really need anymore. I was
Oh,
spending
really? Yeah,
too much. Yeah, the old snap-on track gets old. Yeah, I'll say
yeah,
that.
right. Yeah, awesome. Oh, thanks heaps for coming on, mate. Next time we have you back, we'll have you back for sure, and you can update us on it, how everything's going at the end of 24 or something, and you'll have to get a camera mount because your camera was doing some weird shit during
Yeah,
the
no, it's been a bit hard on me, but I haven't been able to put it anywhere.
it was sideways a couple times, upside down.
Yeah, I
It
don't
was
know what's going on with it.
it was breaking my focus.
But yeah, no, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was
No,
good
classic,
talking to
mate.
you.
It was nice to meet you guys. We're sort of just starting to get to know people around the AFT and paddock a bit better, and like I've always seen you guys around. But on race day, it's I don't like to encroach too much on people's space because you're concentrating on your racing, and I don't know, everyone's a bit different, on a race day too. And I
Yeah,
just sort of think, no, I'll just let people have their space, and at least people come to talk to me, sort of stuff. And I
yeah,
always
no,
say, obviously say good day and that, but yeah, the long-winded, as we know, I can talk a bit, so the long-winded conversations I try to save for after the racing. But a lot of people, like you said before, motels and stuff, a lot of people disappear after racing off to their motels and out to dinner or whatever, or fixing their bikes back at their motels, or if they're camping, they're already pissed by the time I get to them and can't understand them anyway.
yeah, yeah, no, that's pretty normal too.
Yeah, yeah, but it was great having the chat to you, old man. And I think you had already gone to bed when I was chatting to him. That was on the Saturday night.
Oh yeah, the heat really took it out of me. I hit the hay pretty early that night.
Yeah, but yeah, well, no doubt we'll see you next year. Do you think you'll do all the AFTN rounds? Did you say that earlier and I missed it, or?
No, I'll do it. I'll most likely do them unless something terrible happens and I won't be able to make it. But otherwise, I should be at all the rounds next year as well.
Yeah, sweet. Oh, we'll catch you at those, and yeah, have a good, safe Christmas, mate. And thanks for coming on.
Nah, you too, mate. I appreciate you for inviting me.
Yeah, no dramas at all. Cheers, James.
Nah, all good. Have a good one.
Go flat tracker. Go flat tracker. Go, go, go.